This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'd like to be joined by teen prodigy Jesus Martinez over Zoom. Jesus, very exciting time for you. First and foremost, so how are you?
Good, good. How about you, sir?
I'm good, thank you for asking. But look, enough about me. There is a reason you're here. You're the new ISG International Sports Group signing. You've teamed up with Darren Barker, with Joe Calzaghe. Very exciting times. Talk to me about how this all came about.
They reached out to me. They heard about my amateur pedigree, and I've always looked up to Joe Calzaghe and Darren. They're ex-world champions, and they used to be elite world champions. So I'm very blessed for them to have reached out to me, and I'm signed with them, and it's gonna go to the top.
Not only are they both former world champions, brilliant fighters, they're both very well respected people over here in the UK as well. What was it they said to you that kind of sold it in particular?
Well, since they're ex-professionals and ex-world champions, they know, the business side to boxing, and I know, and them managing my career, they're gonna take care of me very well and everything. So I know they have the experience in the business side, so that pretty much sold it.
Now, for those that are just getting to know you for the first time here, I'm just going to tell them a little bit about you. Amateur record 137-9. I believe I've got that right. 14-time national champion at 17 years old. Why now? Why is this the right time to turn professional?
Ever since I was, before I even started boxing, when I first fell in love with boxing, my dream, my goal all along was to be a numerous time world champion. And I remember preparing for my first national title. There was a guy asking me at the gym, what are you training for? What are you training for? Because they always see me in the gym working. And I told him I'm training to be a world champion. So all this amateur pedigree and everything, it's all for experience. And I know I have the tools and all the skills to be a world champion.
What was it that first took you down to the boxing gym? Why boxing? What kind of lured you in when you were younger?
Well, my dad comes from a boxing family, all my uncles, my dad himself, my grandpa, my cousins, even them, we've all boxed. And I remember I used to play soccer, which over there in the UK, y'all call it football.
Yeah.
So I played soccer, and that's where I got my nickname from, Panterita. And, I had zero experience in boxing. And then I remember my uncles and my dad, they're like, we should just take him and go fight. I want to see how he would do. And I had never trained in boxing before, and they took me, and it was at the age of 6 or 7, and I just fell in love with it. Like the atmosphere, the way it feels, the electricity, everything. The adrenaline that kicks in, everything, I just fell in love with it. And ever since then, I started training, and it just went up from there.
Your family, obviously boxing people through and through, they know a good fighter when they see one. How quickly did you and those around you, from when they took you down that gym, realize, oh, this is a special talent we've got here in the family?
Well, we started just working, and I think they realized when everything they would show me, I would just soak it up like a sponge. I would just soak it in, and everything that they would tell me to do or that they taught me, I would show it in the ring and sparring or fights, and I would just show it. And ever since then, we've just been training and training and training.
From that moment and growing up, being around boxing, who are your kind of boxing idols, fighters that maybe from the past or active fighters now? Who do you look up to?
Oh, many fighters. Like Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya. My current one right now is Canelo. Joe Calzaghe was one of them. You got Mayweather too, but mainly it was just all those.
That must have been quite a surreal moment for you then, when you've grown up watching Joe Calzaghe and seeing him in these big fights on US soil, and all of a sudden there's phone calls coming in saying Joe Calzaghe wants to manage you. What's that moment like?
It just, it's like a dream come true. It's already a dream coming true, me turning professional and everything. But I remember, it's crazy. I remember when COVID first started and everybody was in quarantine, I would just stay home. I would just stay home and train. But I remember staying home and watching old fights, and I would see Joe Calzaghe versus Roy Jones versus Bernard Hopkins, versus all the elite top fighters. And it's just, a dream come true, getting signed by Darren, Barker, and Joe Calzaghe.
I've watched a few little clips of some of your amateur fights in preparation for this. It looks like even as an amateur, you carry real power already. Do you think your style is going to be very much suited to the pros?
Yes. Well, my style is the way it is. I can adapt. It all just depends on the fighter I'm facing. I can go forward. I can box them. I could counter punch. I could switch. It all just depends. But I know my speed and my power. I'm planning to carry it into the pros.
I want to ask you about the Panterita nickname. You touched on it a little bit before. That actually comes from your days of playing football. But how did that all come about? What kind of a football player were you? What position were you at?
I was mainly, forward and midfield. It's because I was always like on my feet. I can never be defense. And I was actually a star, like, because my nature is I want to be better than everyone. I'm competitive. And just like how I am in boxing, I was in soccer since a little kid. I was just competitive. I wanted to be better than everyone. And there was this one guy watching along the side with the sidelines, and I remember him telling my dad, he's fat, but in Spanish, he's fast like a panterita. He's fast like a panterita. Look at him. And ever since then, that name just stuck on. And panterita in English is panther. So they would say, he's fast like a little panther. He's fast like a little panther. And when I moved to boxing, that nickname just carried onto boxing.
Now, obviously, I'm guessing you've established from my voice, we are a UK-based channel, so this will be your British audience you're getting introduced to here. The two guys represent you are British as well. Is it in your ambitions to come over here and fight sometime in the near future?
Oh, yes, for sure. I want to experience something new. I've never been to the UK or England, so I would want to get some fights in the UK or wherever Darren and Joe have for me.
I'm sure I read somewhere the debut will be sometime in the next sort of couple months if everything goes to plan. Do you know roughly when we'll see you for the first time?
Right now, fingers crossed, it's looking like April, but Darren and Joe, they'll let me know. But right now, April's looking good.
And I found it interesting. You said even from a very young age, when you were training and people were asking you why you were so driven and why you were in the gym so much, you're saying, because I want to be a multi-weight world champion. Being a world champion alone is the peak for 99.9% of fighters. But to say straight out, I want to win multiple world titles, multiple weights, is that just something that's always been in there for you, that level of ambition?
Yes, sir. Because I mean, when I was little, I looked at the world champions back then. I'm like, well, they're world champion, but I want to be more than that. What's more than that? And you just have to win more world titles or more divisions. And I've always just wanted to do that. I wanted to be different and set myself apart and make history.
All right, well, Jesus, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and we're very excited to see you in a professional boxing ring. I'm sure we'll have you over here in the UK sometime soon as well. So all the best, and we'll see you at your pro debut.
Okay, thank you. See you soon. Take care.